graduate on Saturday, and then the seniors would not come in, obviously, that last week.
Okay.
So that Saturday really isn't a point about the holiday, because we're talking a whole week in advance. It was more about not being on Sunday.
Yeah. Well, I think, yeah, if I'm thinking about family coming into family have Memorial Day, you can do it on Sunday because people could travel on Monday.
Yeah.
I think you want people to be able to go to, spend time with family after graduation.
And there's many graduations in the area on Saturdays.
So yes, thank you. That is that.
I just wanted to be sure.
Yep.
So we are going to approve this. So any questions, discussion?
You are welcome to approve it if you want.
Or we not? It says an action item.
Yep, it is. You're welcome to approve it. I know somebody asked, do we have to approve it tonight?
Oh,
and my answer
okay.
to that is no.
Okay.
It could wait till next month if there were things that you wanted me to go back and look at, change. There's obviously a couple there that highlight I'll take out. We'll double check the day count for the quarters and semesters and all of that stuff.
It's up to you guys.
Will we just address the sectional termination when we go over there and like
Yeah.
have a meeting about it?
So the track meet will be, when is it? The 27th?
Is what Josh thinks it would be. So we'd have to have a conversation about that when that time comes. I don't think there's a way to make that the last day.
Got it.
I was the one who asked if we had to, just because I thought it was a lot of information to digest. But, I think everything has been explained well, so, it's up. And I don't have children, so I would not want to be the one pushing to approve it if others had questions.
Any questions, further discussion?
With the graduation, just asking the question. Like, as far as the school or staff goes, is everybody in favor of it? Because it's not like a huge overwhelming,
It's not overwhelming, no.
just making sure that with the change of graduation that everybody's, it's only 45%. There's a lot of different opinions.
Yeah, there was not a major theme one way or the
The
other.
only one overwhelming really is the starting score. But it won't be effective this year, it's next year.
It would be
They'd
next
give them
year. Yep.
plenty of
26, 27.
And I guess, what would be the feedback that we would need, that we would bring this calendar back and say, let's put it back on Sunday? Or do we just say we're gonna try it once and see how it goes?
We've made adjustments over the
We
last
have.
year on calendars when we need to, right?
Say that again.
We've made adjustments over the last year on calendars when we need to. I think if we've gone over everything, I personally don't see a reason why we couldn't readjust something as it comes up within the next year.
I believe that there's a level with staff to have it done with on the weekend before and then have Memorial Day to travel and, be able to start your summer. I think people would see an advantage to that. Because then when they're done on the 28th, they're done.
Well, if there's no other questions or concerns to be held over, I would move to approve the district calendar for 2026-27 as presented, other than the possible typo.
I would second it.
Motion by Joni, seconded by Jessica. Any other questions or further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Elementary special ed support?
Yeah, this is something, obviously, that's been on the radar for quite a while. And as I said, waiting for kind of the final financials to know that this was feasible in the way that we had budgeted for the year and the way that we planned for it with our staffing from last year, which is a big part of that budget. And just following the same procedure we've done in the past. So getting board approval to post a position for a full-time special education teacher. I think Josh and Dave can probably both speak to the challenges we've had getting the year started. We've been in a system the last few years where we've had 3 special ed teachers. One of the biggest advantages of that is we've had one at the K1 and really 4K level, supporting those teachers that were on and those students that were on a similar schedule of the day. Then we had one at the 2-3 level where that teacher, a special ed teacher was supporting them, and then one at the 4-5 level. In going to 2, which was, an effort to be as efficient as we could when we saw some of those numbers lower last year, the scheduling has become really, really difficult. Getting the teachers and two, and not brand new, one teacher that's moved and working with different teachers than she's worked with in the past and different grade levels than she's worked with in the past, and one teacher, brand new to the district, not having the collaborative time that they need, those types of things. We're seeing the need more so than just the para support for special ed teachers, so that the collaboration can be in place. Numbers, if you look at numbers, the numbers are dropping pretty low with getting to 3 teachers as far as ratios, but I think for what we're able to create as far as the environment and the collaborative environment with special ed, it makes sense to hire the teacher if we can get a quality, viable candidate, and that has been a concern for us over the past year, trying to look at those positions. So I'm looking for approval to post this position. We have a para in place right now that is helping and supporting, and once this teacher position would be hired, that float position would go away, and then we'd have the extra teacher to help meet those needs throughout the rest of the year. So that's my recommendation.
I
know
do have a
Shelley's got
question
questions.
on, what are our numbers compared to last year?
We're down, and you have that in your report today, right? So you can.
Yeah. You want to know it now, or?
Sure, yeah.
Go ahead.
So October 1st is the date that DPI does the count for students or special education. I don't know why it's different than this third Friday, but it is. So currently, we're overall in the district, we have 110, 60 at the elementary, 50 at the middle high school, 37 of the 110. I don't have that broken down, elementary versus middle high school, but 37 of the 110 are speech and language only. And then we have 10 students at other facilities. And then we have 19 students with a 504 plan, and then 2 students from St. Paul's. And if we compare that to October 1st of 2024, we had 63 at the elementary and 48 at the middle high school, and 38 of those 111 were speech and language only. And then we're up 1 for our students at other facilities, and up 1 for 504, and down 1 for St. Paul. So similar numbers, but
So similar numbers, and David, you come back with, this was a budgeting thing from 6 months ago. You said it was not a need because our numbers were way down. The numbers didn't support it, and things of that sort. When the 2 outgoing teachers and the 1 existing teacher was begging for the numbers to stay the same, and you came to us as a board saying it is no longer needed, that we only need 2 teachers. Going into the school year with our highest need kids, and like you say, finding a qualified teacher now this late into the game, when we kind of demanded the resignation of the 1 teacher, the letter, so we could post early so we could get qualified candidates. And now we're behind the eight ball when it was being told to us by the teachers that it was needed, but it was told to the board as an admin that we do not need that. I guess me as a board member, kind of having a little inside information on it, I'm ticked that we are behind the ball, and getting a qualified teacher might not be a good thing.
Yeah, again, the numbers were what the numbers were in March when we made the decision. They grew from there. And that's when we had made the financial decisions. So that's why I went there. So could we have come a little bit sooner with this? Yes, potentially. I still believe in my heart that we can look at the way that we're serving our kids, and we can do things more efficiently. We have been working on that in professional development time. We are bringing paras in on the 17th to continue to work on the way that we support students. I understand what your frustration is. We went off the numbers that were black and white in March, and they have crept up since then, and that's why I'm coming back, along with the clarity of where the budget is.
Okay, I guess,
I apologize it didn't happen faster, but I truly,
I guess
I was looking for that budget
that's where I'm
there.
coming from, is I don't like being lied to.
I did not like.
The two teachers that left said that the numbers were not going down, the numbers were staying the same. I approached you in March and April and saying, that's not what I'm hearing. And who do we believe? We as a board believe our administration. And now you're coming back saying the numbers really haven't changed. And you say they were down in March, but get this, they're up now. I'm sorry, I
understand.
don't believe it. I don't believe it, and I don't like being lied to. I treat people with trust and respect. If I feel I've been lied to, that trust and respect's going to take a long time to get back.
What's our special ed staffing at the middle high school?
We have 3. We have Michelle Harper at the middle school, Christina Peterson-Genenzi at the high school, and Todd Grant is 612 because of his licensure in the student population that he works with.
So this will be in addition to the elementary school, so I guess, I'm not sure how you divide it up, but like per teacher, like what is like pupil ratio, I guess?
So currently we have 32. No, at the elementary. Again, some of those are 32 that aren't speech only, and so those students would obviously be broken up into different. The difficulty with special education is that one kid is not the same as another kid, and so their disability category might be similar, but their needs could be very, very different. So it's hard to say that one student, like when we talk about numbers, one student is not always the same as another student. So that's difficult. The numbers we can say what they are. But obviously at the elementary, they need more. They're not as independent as even middle school kids that are in special education. So that's what we would be broken up into. Again, it's going to depend on how we structure it, but it'd be relatively 10 to 12 per teacher.
Right now, it's about 16 or 15.
It's 16 and 19 right currently, just given the grade level. Or, sorry, not 30. I'm not good at math, apparently.
15 to 16. somewhere.
Yeah, and currently we don't have any 4K students other than speech and language students. So, and that obviously can change throughout the year.
And does that, like, sorry, I just have a lot of questions, I guess, but does that fluctuate, like, throughout the day? Like, sometimes certain, like, a number of that 32 could be in the classroom, sometimes they're not, sometimes.
We try to keep students with their same age peers as much as we can, but because of their skill gaps, we do have to pull them out to get additional instruction or different instruction, knowing that we're trying to both not let them get a bigger gap to miss class, but also that there's skill gaps that need to be filled. And right now we're pulling them out, but they are in the classroom a majority of the day.
I mean, I think, in my opinion, we have to move forward with hire of additional staff member just to, I'll make a motion to approve the additional staffing needed for special ed at Bangor Elementary as presented.
I have a second.
Shelley. Motion by Lisa, seconded by Shelley. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Baseball, softball field engineering and design.
Yeah, thank you, Julie. So, first of all, I want to share. We have gotten some feedback in the last, 6-8 months, probably more than that. Over the course of the last couple of years, was just a number of concerns over at the baseball and softball diamond, and the number of things that need to have some attention. That facility is a little better than 15 years old and starting to see some significant issues as far as the way that the drainage is happening, settling that has occurred. We fight a lot of moisture in the spring of the year especially, which is when we need to try to get that field ready for baseball. The Booster Club approached me a couple weeks ago, and we had a good conversation about one of the goals of the Booster Club would be working with the district, trying to start a capital campaign, trying to address some of those concerns at the baseball and softball diamond. If my understanding is correct, it was that Field of Dreams was originally created with a lot of community support. So kind of 15 years later, coming back for another round of hopes. Now, I will completely acknowledge when Lori Horseman and I sat down and talked about that, we were talking about maybe $150,000 or something like that we could raise over there that would go pretty quickly. And I said, what I feel really needs to happen is we need to work with Paragon, which is the company we worked on with all of the other referendum work, to work on a drainage plan and figure out how do we get that area so that it actually functions better, get the water out of there and be able to address those issues. So we had Paragon come out and do a walk with Mike and I, and we kind of talked about our hopes and dreams if we could do everything we wanted to that facility. I think if we did everything we wanted to that facility, it's probably more realistically a $750,000 to $1 million project over there. We obviously know that's probably more than we're going to accomplish all at once, but what can we do over the course of multiple years? In developing that, I think it's really, really important that we understand the root of some of the issues. So how do we get rid of the moisture? How do we, make the field so it's more stable and doesn't just continue to settle instead of just bringing in more material or whatever it may be. So we worked with Paragon, walked the facility, and they came back with the attached proposal. My understanding is, having a conversation with Mike, that it was maybe about 10 years ago, Dave had brought a similar proposal that was like $6,000 at the time to survey and do all that type of stuff. And the question was asked, $6,000 and we don't have anything different at the end of it. Is it worth that investment? The cost on none of this is going down with anything. But I really feel it would be important for us to fully understand and have a very developed plan to start to attack that area, and then be able to clearly communicate to the community on a community campaign with the Booster Club, what are our goals for that area. So as I had said in the budget, we had allocated budget money for this. Probably in the range of about 120,000 is what we're thinking. The first 20,000-ish, the 17,400 going towards actually getting a plan and developing the clear direction of what we need to do, and then that other money with the potential of whatever kind of groundwork we would need to do in the area between the fields that has nothing to do with playability, but just has to do with the moisture and being able to start going towards that. Again, in the budget priorities, that's allocated, but it's, obviously we would approve any of that as we go, and just planning for that type of work. So the first step, realistically is getting this work done, and having that clear plan. And just looking for some discussion and potential approval on this, and we don't have to act on it now. I can tell you 2 or 3 years from now, it's not going to be any cheaper. This is the only reality of it. So
I'm going to start with a dumb question.
Yep.
Is there a typo in line 2? Or what are we talking about, light industrial building at 1031 South 4th Street in La Crosse?
I questioned that too, but I think in general, you're talking about light construction that's going to happen. We're not doing heavy equipment moving.
Well, why are they saying La Crosse? 4th Street, La Crosse? Like, is that just a carryover of an old contract, or what is that?
That could have been.
Okay.
I read the light industrial.
And skip the rest. I'm teasing.
I didn't see the.
I kept going back to that. I'm like, what are we doing in La Crosse? Okay.
That is right in the neighborhood. I mean, the number is what we talked about in person, or right about that. So you're right. I will get a new one of those before I sign it, because I'm not going to pay for them to develop an address in La Crosse.
Is there anyone else we can get a quote from at all, or are you set on this?
What did you say?
Is there anyone else you can get a quote from, or are you set on this?
I could. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I actually was driving today and saw a truck with that does some of the same work with a company I hadn't heard of that I could reach out to and get a quote. This is the company that laid it out the first time, and worked with the district throughout the referendum and everything. So this is the company here that we've worked with in the past. I was sharing just briefly with a couple folks, when that area was originally developed, it was more of a community effort, I think, and there was some community members that didn't volunteer, but did us some really good favors as far as material and work. And the permitting and everything to make that happen when it was going from a farm field to an athletic facility was really simple, because it was a farm field. It is now a wetland. So there's different DNR posting. Even the bluegrass of the outfield is considered wetland material. So all of that has to play into effect when they're calculating this, which is some of that additional cost.
Personally, I would like a second.
Okay.
What did you say?
I would feel better if there was at least one more bid. I mean, it might come in at 30,000, I don't know, but I would at least feel like Paragon was not, I don't know.
That's fair.
I mean, how soon are we talking about? I mean, like,
At this point in time, it would be, the goal would be to have a plan developed that we could work with the Booster Club for them to communicate it at their spring, their portion of the project, what they're gonna try to take on at the spring fundraiser, and hopefully be able to start the work as soon as baseball's over, baseball and softball are over.
so by me asking for a second bid, I'm not like.
I think we could have one
putting
by next
anything-
month. Yep.
Okay.
How much of I mean, I kind of see a breakdown here of what, 17,400, but just, I know you had mentioned something about DNR permits and all that kind of stuff, like, can they give us a breakdown, like what does a permit cost? I have no idea, what,
Well, it
like
says
where,
outlined below, but it's not really,
it doesn't really
I
give
can
me.
I can get more clarity, and I'll make sure that the
I mean,
next.
I
bid
see
has
how much
that.
they're gonna charge us per hour per position. I think I need to work there. But I don't see a whole lot else of what we're getting for, I mean, I see what we're getting, but I guess I know, like, permits, what does it cost? What, I have no idea.
Generally, a lot of the permits with the DNR, they're not costly. It just takes forever in the amount of paperwork. The DNR will not advise you. They are a ticket and fine you after the fact. They will not advise you on how to go about things.
they'll tell you what you did wrong.
But they'll tell you what you did wrong after the fact. They're like, we can't advise you, these are the rules, play within the rules. But they are really good at not, I mean, they can't. I mean, we've dealt with them so many times with Dutch Creek and stuff like that where, but they will definitely ticket you when you do it wrong. Yeah. But the permits themselves they're generally not real costly. It just takes a lot of time
Yeah.
and energy and paperwork to get it done correctly.
To understand
Yes.
what the scope is that's acceptable.
Yes.
Yep. I hear you 100%, and we can table this one, and I will get at least one more bid, if not two, and I will make sure there's more clarity and accuracy in that next one.
Well, no offense, but Paragon did the work, and we're having trouble with it, so why not make sure we're
Right.
getting the right.
The one thing, I mean, I'm sure Paragon or whoever is going to be doing the permitting, but if you go back in history and take aerial views, aerial pictures, and there was always a ditch running through there that was wet.
Yep.
But if the area in question was able to be worked before, it is not considered a wetland. The wetlands were something that was always there, but you'll have to go back through aerial video and aerial pictures and get that designation changed. And I mean, it's complicated.
Yeah, and I do think, I thank you, I agree with that. I think the other thing is the amount of water that comes across the road from the interstate and under the interstate and all of those types of things. We found that was part of what was tearing up our playground before, is that the ditch had filled on the interstate side, so they did address some of this the whole way along our facilities. But again, a full survey may be able to indicate some of those things too, where then we push the DOT to make sure they're keeping their ditch clean so it's not ruining our facility.
So I have just a question because I'm curious, but how much money do we go into restoring it every year? Or how many games are we missing because of washout or flooding?
Well, I think it's reaching a point where we're questioning the playability of it
Okay.
right now, and it's settling more than anything, and just continues to settle every year. So then you have more and more wet spots. We're trying, we can put top dressing on, we can dress it up, and we have a number of, I think 8,900 or something like that to kind of redo the infield.
Okay.
But again, I don't want to throw that money at it, and if it's not solving the problem in 3-4 years from now, we need to have that done again.
Right. Okay.
All right, thank you. I appreciate the feedback there.
Do we need a motion to table it then, or do we just move on?
I would say let's just move on, and I will bring it back.
You have potential action, so we're
Yep.
okay. All right, athletic ticket, or any other discussion, questions about that? Sorry, baseball, softball field? Okay, athletic ticket passes, fees?
Talking a lot tonight. This is another time that I'd really like you guys to talk and tell me what you think. A question was posed to us, and Jean takes care of all of our athletic season passes and those types of things. Question was posed on can grandparents basically that are coming to every game to watch their grandkids, can they get the senior athletic pass that we have historically sold only, or not sold, we've given for free to any Bangor resident over age 60. And I said, I don't know. I don't think so, but let me look into it. So in looking into it, I put out a doc and kind of got an idea of what the other schools in the district or in the conference are doing, because that is where we're attending most of our games. And I think we can see, you know, our ticket prices are the same across the board. $2 and $4 is pretty consistent across the way. One of the things that came up pretty clearly was the student pass. It was definitely different in the fact that there are multiple school districts, 1, 2, 3, 4 school districts that don't charge their own students to participate or to come to an event. And I think there's some validity to not charging your kids to be there if we're about involvement and engagement. The adult passes were a little bit on the high end of where those run as far as the adult passes. Family passes, we're on the high end of where those were. A couple of the districts had the couples passes, which makes more sense if you're doing a couples pass. If you're giving the kids free pass, you kind of need that ability to do the couples pass. We haven't had that option. And then the senior pass, and you can see most of the conference 60 plus is free, and a couple of us, Hillsborough and us, are for residents only. So the other ones are just 60 plus. Come on in. So we used AI again. Brian ran that through and said, what would your recommendations be? So there's some thoughts there. We had some discussions, kind of took that feedback, and what's in the yellow and pink highlighted areas there is a proposal that we could put in place if you guys wish to make some changes kind of based on what we saw from the other neighboring schools. I think regardless of why we started the process, identifying the fact that we want our Bangor students engaged and involved, I think allowing them to have a free pass with their student ID or whatever, I think is warranted, and get kids here and engaged and supporting their peers is awesome. Adult pass, I think, is a fair number for a single adult. The family pass, if we give the kids a free one, we would probably move to that couples pass and drop the cost. Basically the difference of that kids from 80 to 60. The senior pass would still be free lifetime for residents. And then if we really wanted to keep that special to our residents, because there was value in that at some point in time, putting it in place for only residents, we can call it a grandparent pass. So 60 plus for a single or a couple could be $15 for the year, and they would have a pass and not have to pay for each game that they come to. When we look at it, our revenue, I mean, we're talking maybe a difference if we made these changes of $6,000 a year in revenue to the district. So not a substantial amount of revenue from ticketing these events. We don't have to make any of these changes. I put in the minutes, if we were to make changes, I would make them effective immediately, but I would be very clear that we are not going back and doing refunds for things that have already been purchased for this year, just because we're not gonna go through all of that headaches, and then it would just be in place for that moving forward. But if a grandparent wanted to buy a pass now, they could still buy it for the rest of the season.
Can I assume we sell a lot of passes? I mean, if you're gonna pay $4 a person as a couple, but you can get a pass for $25 at Cashton, I mean, like, who would pay by the game? I mean, because it's football, basketball, volleyball,
Yep.
everything, correct?
Yep.
And right now we're 80. We've been 80 or 50 for a long, and that's been for probably 10 years at least, probably.
Oh, gosh, yeah. More than that.
Well, I'm really in support, like David, as David mentioned, for our students. I think that's engagement, it's inclusion. You know, and some people may think, well, what's $2? Well, for some kids, when there's 3 events going on a week, it's a lot. So I'm totally in support of our students
So the $2 student admission is really talking about a student from another school coming here, correct? Okay.
Yeah, the
Right,
the
but
Bangor,
our students.
Bangor
might-
students would
Right
be
now,
free.
our students are
Yep.
paying to get in.
either a pass or $2.
Right.
My only concern with allowing the students to get in for free is the abundance of kids we've been getting lately, and security has been an issue, I think, or like safety and running around and all of that. So I didn't know if there could be extra staff monitoring or have rules and expectations of students, but that's just a thought that comes to mind. If we did
These
this-
past 2 games have been.
It has to be an expectation of parents that you
Wow.
don't drop your kids off.
And they
Yeah,
say,
but how do
here's
you
a free
enforce that?
event.
I know.
Here's a free event, go hang out for 3 hours.
Well, true, well,
So
true.
just be cautious, you don't hurt police, right?
But they're doing it now and it's not free.
It gets easier when they come inside because it's easier to shoo them out. If you're
Football has
shooing them out.
always been bad, always. And whoever's was announcing they are not allowed in the playground or off here, that helped. But now they're just out here.
I do like the fact that we would allow our own students in, but, I don't know that there's a magic solution to the kids that just show up and don't even know what's going on out on the field. They're just running around. I don't know if that's gonna get fixed, but I don't think that's gonna change much if we give the student pass.
I was gonna say, yeah, that's been going on for decades, so it's nothing
Doesn't
new,
matter
but
if you pay
you still have to just keep getting on them for discipline.
Is it out of line to let the students in for free if the parents come? Like if they're accompanied by an adult of a certain age? Or does that cross too many lines?
Unfortunately, that creates barriers.
Okay.
Say, and it puts a lot on our ticket takers for policing that on,
Sure.
Yeah,
Can't keep an eye on it.
right, yep.
All right.
I think this would be hard enough just as a ticket taker, the way it is. To know your students, number one, know your students. Know your 60 pluses, know your it's a lot already, I would say.
Well, some schools for students, you have to show your student ID.
I mean, if you're gonna lie about it, then they need it worse than we do. I mean, seriously,
If you're wearing the other team's colors, we're probably gonna know that you're not one of ours. If you're wearing a Bangor sweatshirt, we're probably gonna.
Okay, because I have absolutely no idea.
Yeah.
Does the middle school get a pass, for the year? Do they have a little card that they carry? Is it high school? I remember coming to high school.
We
with,
had the
an ID
card, did they get cards with their?
Yeah, when they started, okay. Is it something where they could have it marked on their ID card, they bring it in, and if you're in elementary school, they don't drop you off without an adult? Do you know what I mean? Is that too hard of a line to draw, really? If you put it on the ID card, they have to have their ID card presented to get in. If they're in middle school and high school, you would think that the behavior would be a little bit better at that age of accountability, right? I don't know, maybe I'm asking too much.
Valid question.
So, other discussion about the other parts, the couples, the seniors.
Again, I put potential action item. It was brought to our attention. I think there are some areas that we could make adjustments on. We're not forced to do this tonight. We could do it at the end of the year for next year. Or if there's something we want to move forward with, we can just move forward.
And there's always changes we can make if something's not working with these, in a later month. So, I think it's good for grandparents out of the area and stuff that way. I guess if there's no other real discussion, I'd like to make a motion to approve the changes to the ticket passing as discussed, effective immediately.
I'll second.
Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. Any other questions or discussion?
We just add, as it says in there, as presented, we're not doing any refunds if somebody already bought a family pass for this year or a student pass.
Right, as it's written here.
I
Yep,
forgot to ask one question. This does not apply to tournament, right?
it does not apply to that.
Yeah,
Nope.
it can't.
Thanks, good.
And I don't think.
Yep,
WIA.
WIA is different, yep.
Yeah.
So can you just say the changes again that we will do verbally? In case anyone-
So as it changes, the items in pink, so Bangor students would be free for a free student pass, and we can either issue them a pass, or if they get their ID with their pictures, I don't know if they do, we can ask them to bring those.
So we're saying 4K through 12,
Yep,
they're a student.
yep,
period.
our students,
Okay.
yep. The family pass would go away, so we would only sell couples passes or adult passes. And a couples pass would be 60 instead of the 80 for a family. The lifetime Bangor resident would still be free for the 60 plus. And the grandparent pass, if you will, 60 plus for a single or a couple. Not gonna differentiate and do 10 and 5, or 10 and 15, just $15 for that grandparent pass that will get them and their spouse into a game, or 2 people 60 plus. So those would be the changes, effective immediately with no refunds for things that had already been purchased this year. And if we need to bring it back and change it, we can.
Any other questions or discussion? All right, I have a motion by Shelley, seconded by Lisa. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, personnel, Dr. Braca.
This one happened shortly after our last meeting. I let you guys know via email, but the person who had come in and helping with food service support, running the computer and stuff here, did not work out. I think I shared with you guys the text message that we got on that. We've got that all closed out. We have, from some of the interviews we had done right before school started, had a para that we asked to step into that role, and is doing the role right now, and it's going really well. She wanted to try it for a month or so before she committed to it, so hopefully next month's meeting we would have that as an official hire moving forward. So, but it is being covered at this point in time. So looking for the approval of the food service support resignation.
Make a motion to approve the resignation of Raspberry Downing effective September 25th, 25. I'll second.
Motion made by Kelly, seconded by Jessica. Any other questions or discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. All right, we will start with administrative reports. Mr. Chaplin.
Thanks, Julie. Do you want anything more explained about the October 1 count, or since we already kind of talked about that, we'll just move on? Special Festers Day was a couple weeks ago. Most of our elementary students went to that, and a couple of the middle high school students. It's always a great time. The kids had fun. Mr. Luke even got to go for the first time this year. Again, I like to thank the Knights of Columbus, who usually give us a donation for that, mostly for lunch, because it's free for the kids to go there. So most of the rides were open this year, so that was good for the kids, because last year some of them weren't open, so a lot of things with that. But always a great time, and kids get to go enjoy Oktoberfest without the big long lines. Plus, there's a lot of other schools there that have similar students that come, so it's a good time for them to be there without large crowds. And Mr. Luke got to go on like rides for a lot, so.
And I barely made it out, so.
Thank you, Mr. Chaplin. Any questions? All right, Mr. Luke.
All right, thank you. Good evening, everybody. So, just a follow up with that, I guess, with the special festers. It was pretty cool. Mr. Laufenberg, there was a young man who, I say young man, I'm talking about a first grader, who was there, and he said, and he pointed out, he's like, we are, I've gone with him 2 times on this ride. It's kind of like a fun house type of thing. He's like, I'm trying to get him to do it by himself. And I thought it was, that's really what we're trying to do with all of our students, is getting them to gain independence, and which includes what we're trying to do with our special ed program too, is work the students toward independence. And it was just so neat to see that happen, and the kid did do it by himself. So very cool. Just a few notes as far as what's been going on lately. So homecoming, was great. This is the first time I've seen it from the perspective of the elementary school, and it was just really neat to see all those high school kids come down and work with the elementary kids, and just the impact that I thought that it had on our elementary kids, and just the dress up days throughout the week, and they just really, the school spirit was strong, in the elementary, much like it is here, and it was just really neat to witness that, be part of it. Our October assembly, we have a PBIS assembly every month. And our October assembly was the word of the month is teamwork, and we had some high school student athletes come down and talk to our elementary students about teamwork, and they did just a fantastic job. It's hard to get up in front of a group and talk like that, and they did a really good job. I was really impressed with them, including one student who was sick that day, and her word, she talked about teamwork and also one of our PBIS words, and her word was responsible. So I showed up to work that day, I had an email from her saying, I'm sick, but here's what I was going to say. So I read that, and I pointed out to our elementary students that was very responsible of her to do that. So it worked out. Too bad she was sick, but it worked out well. Mini chair last week, just wanted to mention that, and just a shout out to Miss Hooker and the cheerleaders. We had 70 mini cheerleaders, so that was very cool. If anybody was able to see that on Friday night, it was something to behold. And she really worked with, we had a couple that were a bit late in signing up, and she worked with us as far as getting them in, so that was awesome too. Fire Safety Month, today we had 3 fire trucks, so just really appreciate what the fire department does, and I'll be getting some pictures out on the live feed and Facebook tomorrow from that event today, and so they did a fantastic job. You can see the kiddos were really excited. One question that the firemen were asking them is, the house is on fire, and there's a window, you see the window, what do you do? And without fail, they would answer, jump out the window. No, don't jump out the window. We shine a flashlight or get the attention of the firefighter, but that was pretty neat, just to see them taking that in. I put our into reading curriculum on there for no other reason, just to say that it's tough. It's a new curriculum, and that is always difficult, but our teachers are working through it, and we're going through these growing pains together, and we're going to continue doing that. We're now in the phase where we're using our Coachly, so the curriculum provides coaches for us to meet with via Zoom. So we're in that phase, and I just got to give the teachers credit for working through this and sticking to the curriculum when they've been doing what they've been doing and what they know for so long. That can be difficult to make that change. So knowledge what they're doing. Our culture club at the elementary, I think I said this last month that going into this year, I'm not trying to change much. Why change? Why try to fix what's not broken? So I'm just trying to learn and observe, but one thing that is new is we started a culture club, and that's a group of our staff members who want to. The idea is not only to make the school a place that kids want to come to every day, but also the same thing. We want the same thing to be true for the staff members. So we met today, and they're just doing great things and focusing on making Bangor a fun place to work, Bangor Elementary a fun place to work without sacrificing that focus on teaching and learning. That's one thing I said right from the beginning, is we want it to be fun. Doesn't mean that we're taking our focus off of teaching and learning. So, and then lastly, I just added this in tonight. I was just thinking about this. Our PTO meeting, we have another PTO meeting on October 20th. couple of highlights. We have the book fair for PTO at Parent Teacher Conferences next week. And then on October 24th is the pumpkin party at 5:30. Comments or questions? All right, wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Wopat.
Good evening. I have a couple of topics that I'd like to bring to your attention tonight, and the first is homecoming. As a new administrator, someone coming into the district, I had heard quite often the concept of Bangor pride is a real thing. And after experiencing homecoming, yeah, 100%, it is real. The school spirit, the dress-up days, how involved the students were, the staff, the parade, and the community. It was amazing. The week after, then I sat during study hall and I went around and I just interviewed kids and just said, okay, give me the best part of homecoming week and then give me a suggestion that we could improve upon last year. And overall, the feedback was, it was great, Mr. Wopat. I mean, everything went well, except the judging. It comes down to that spirit stick. We need to find different judges for that. So, okay, message received. I'd also like to just kind of give you guys an update on PLCs, what we're doing there. Last month during PD, we introduced to the whole district, basically it's a tool, it's a website called The Hub, and all it is just a warehouse for all of the curriculum the district is working on. And it really kind of, what it does is it also gives staff the direction in which we're going to work from as we progress. So if you're working on this, because each collaborative team is at a different spot, and so we had to do the best we can at just meeting them where they're at. And so if a team is advanced, well, then when they ask that question, well, what's next? Well, the hub will explain what you do next. If you're even at the beginning stages, or even let's say a new teacher, where am I at? The hub will explain that. But at the same time, we then have that chance to look at it really quickly to see where each of those teams are. And so over the past few weeks, since we've introduced it with the middle school and high school teachers, I've been meeting with those collaborative teams and talking them through, okay, where are you with your student learning objectives and your learning targets and your success criteria? Because those are the three main things that each class has to have as a foundation as we move forward. And it's interesting to talk to the teachers in terms of the process that they've been going through, where they're at, and then how do we use AI to really kind of give everything that extra boost we need. And so that's what we've been working on, is taking what they've had, aligning it with the academic state standards through the state, using AI. So AI will tell us where the gaps are, it'll tell us where the strengths are, and then it'll even turn around and say, well, this is what you got to do to change it to make sure that everything aligns well. And so that's the process that we've been working through with collaborative teams. As Dr. Brockapit talked about with the para update, it didn't work out with the one para, but we have someone in the position right now, and what I want to share with you is when we hired the last position, we kind of just created it based on the needs that we had. Well, now that the school year has started, those needs are very clear and evident. So we've been able to shift hours and be able to actually really meet the needs of some students that just need that extra support. We didn't have that before. And so I am crossing everything that this works out, and that next month I can bring to you a recommendation for hire. In addition, for the coaching position updates, I've heard some feedback from the community. Man, this is hard to fill these positions. We put it on WeCan, put it on social media, Indeed. We've emailed all the universities. We've emailed parents. We've asked coaches. So this is my even plea to you guys. Hey, as school board members, if you know anyone who would like to coach basketball, please let me know. We have a few leads, and so we're working on it diligently just to try to get those filled before the season starts. And then the last thing that I'd like to bring to your attention is just our dearest Miss Adams was, as you heard from Jordan's report, diagnosed with breast cancer. She had surgery Monday, and everything went well. And so, of course, the staff and students wish her a speedy recovery. Her request on Monday, that's when she wasn't here, she's like, that's when I want the students to know, and then I want the high school parents as well. So we had a statement that was read during Cardinal time, and then we sent home an email to parents afterwards. And then we also have these 7 brave, I don't know if I consider myself brave, anyways, whatever, males that are willing to help with the fundraiser to offset some of those costs, medical costs. And if we can, okay, so first of all, if you look at the poster over here, you will see what AI has done to remove our hair already. But out of those 7 individuals, the one who earns the most money will get their head shaved at a all school assembly at the end of October, which you are all invited to. But I know you're gonna come. If we raise $3,000, all of us get our heads shaved at that assembly. So, yeah, look forward to that.
I don't think 3,000 is gonna be unattainable. I think we're watching y'all get it.
Yeah, we're watching you. When is the Sunday school assembly?
I think so too.
I wanna know when the Sunday school assembly is.
I think it is the 31st. It's October. 31st is Halloween. It's, yeah,
Ooh,
it's,
won't that
we're
be
gonna
a good-
combine a student.
Won't that be a good day to do that?
Said who? No one.
I don't know what all the hype is.
We know who your model was.
Right. Thank you.
Any questions for Mr. Wopat?
I just want to make a quick comment to both of you. I just have really, really enjoyed the uptick in the social media that's inclusive of the activities that are going on, the kids that are involved. I've just seen a lot, and it's very impressive, and it's heartwarming to see everything in action. I appreciate it.
The classroom pictures, it's just great to see that and to what Bangor is doing. It's great. Keep it up. I agree, Joni. All right, Dr. Brockup, you're up.
Just a couple of quick ones. Well, you've heard the word AI multiple times, or the words AI, artificial intelligence. We attended, and when I say we, Mr. Wopat, myself, Sherry Horseman, and John attended a workshop at CISA last week, and spent some time looking at how we put a plan in place to safely and efficiently use AI. It's scary in what it's capable of, both good and bad. So how do we start to take the guardrails, widen those so that our students and our staff feel comfortable, confident in using those? So what we focused on primarily that day was really talking about our policies and our expectations and setting a clear guideline for acceptable use of AI. If you remember, about a year ago, we put some new AI policy in place, and it said basically AI is a thing and we might use it as long as we don't break the law. We looked at that policy when we review policy at the end of the month. We're going to look at updating that a little bit and including the specific language that we worked on about a week ago. At that point in time, once we've had some board discussions, our hope then is to actually kind of release. We have blocks on a couple of things right now, just because of the safety. Release some of those, especially for our high school students, maybe our middle school and high school students, so we can start to use that. And some really good thought being put into that. So looking forward to having some conversations with the PRC about that, and then bringing that new policy to the board, and then just continuing to embrace the reality that is coming very, very quickly, or is here, I should say. I just wanted to give a real brief update on the stage floor. I think some of you were aware we opted to put a 3/4 inch plywood base that's glued and screwed to the cement, and then we put an 1/8 inch little Luan sheet over top of it that we painted black. It was a cost savings. It was all good. And the concept was, if you ever needed to, you could take the screws out of that, replace a sheet if it got beat up or whatever. Well, especially over the summer, the humidity level in that building changed a little bit, and it worked. So there are like bubbles on the stage, like between the screw patterns. So I went back to Nexus, and I went back and basically we received a settlement for $5,000 for that. And we are going to use some volunteer help and we're actually going to put snap together like vinyl hardwood floor type over it. Will be much more stable when it comes to humidity. If it lasts us 5-10 years, even with a couple screw holes in it that we can caulk up, we're going to be far better off, and it's going to just be more stable than what was there. So that will be done before Harvest Fest, and just something that we're working on there. So just wanted to give you a heads up on that as well. Other than that, I will again say Happy School Board Appreciation Week to you guys, and thank you for all you do.
Any questions for Dr. Braca? Okay. So removal of items from the consent agenda. Tonight on the consent agenda is current openings, Schedule C changes, We are still looking for multiple positions, multiple openings, as Dr. Wolf had said as well. Transportation handbook, which is enclosed in your packet and was also available on our online. And then the ECCP SCN course approvals from UW La Crosse and Western Technical College.
I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Any questions, comments? Motion made by Shelley, seconded by Joni. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. I ask for adjournment.
So moved.
Second.
Motion made by Joni, seconded by Shelley to approve or to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you.